Old is an M. Night Shyamalan movie which you could tell from the trailer it was going to be a terrible, terrible movie. That's why I put it off for so long to watch it. I finally watched it and I could never guess how bad it was going to be. Let's talk about why. A vacationing family discovers that the secluded beach where they were relaxing for a few hours is somehow causing them to age rapidly, reducing their entire lives into a single day. Yep, that's the synopsis of Old. Somehow, some way, on this beach, people are aging 2 years per hour, which is, they kind of just guessed that in the movie. Now, the last M. Night Shyamalan movie I featured here on the channel was The Happening, as part of Worst Movie Ever, a series where I look for the worst movie ever. In that movie, spoiler alert, it was the wind, or the trees, or some load of bollocks like that. In this movie, people are getting old, spoiler alert, because of the rocks around the beach. The rocks around the beach are making people old 2 years per hour. That premise, someone thought of that and said, yeah, that sounds really good. We're going to make a movie about that. It's going to blow people's minds. It's going to be amazing. But a normal person would look at that and go, no, that's fucking stupid. What are you talking about? That's insane. Why make a movie about that? That's really stupid. It's going to lead to nothing but a stupid movie. And that's exactly what we get. Old is a very, very stupid movie. Because while it has a little bit of intrigue as to what's going on, how are they going to get out of this? It's a horror movie, or a thriller movie, I guess, in certain aspects. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I always just equate that to being a horror movie. But it's a horror movie in the terms of being like a horror light movie. A lot of the actual violence or death scenes or people being stabbed is off screen. Someone falls off a cliff, the splat happens off screen. Someone gets stabbed, off screen. You see a little bit of indication of it, but it's off screen. Someone tries to swim away from the island, they float back and they're just dead. So you see dead bodies, you don't see the consequence of the dead bodies, other than one woman crawling through a cave and gets contorted because science. There is a little bit of element of what is going on, but they kind of like throw away the explanation. The two kids find a book from someone who's previously been on the island, and in the book is written out identities of people who had previously been on the island and how the rocks around the beach must be containing all these minerals which are causing aging to happen quicker. And later in the movie, spoiler alert here, it's revealed that people at the holiday destination, the hotel, they're sending people to the secluded beach knowing they're going to be trapped there because they're developing medicine. They're using these people as human trials, saying that this beach is like a magic thing from nature designed to help scientists come up with cures for diseases in 24 hours rather than 24 years type of thing. So they're trying to actually do good despite knowingly killing these people. Which is just a load of bollocks. It really is. Sums up the whole movie, a load of bollocks. As I mentioned right at the start, right from the trailer, you could tell this was going to be a bad movie. It's why I've put off so long watching this movie. This movie came out last year in 2021. What a great year that was. And this movie is kind of, you know, the equivalent of 2021 in movies. You know, if 2021 was a movie, it would be Old. A terrible, stupid, terrible movie. On top of the terrible premise, right from the start, you've got some terrible writing and terrible acting from the main actors at the beginning. A lot of exposition right at the beginning. And then the performances never really wrap up throughout the movie, even with the changing actors, because obviously as characters age, new actors have to come in. The performances are still very meh. Nothing special about them. Visually, the film is absolutely terrible at times. Especially when it gets to nighttime, some scenes are just complete darkness and they're panning around, and the panning around is terrible. I think it's slightly too fast for the frame rate, so it can't really catch up, and it's just very dizzying. They even do that at night when it's dark and it's very stupid. It looks terrible. So parts of the movie are terrible, the dialogue's terrible, the acting's terrible, the premise is terrible, the whole story is terrible. This might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So when it comes down to a rating out of 10 for Old, I can simply give it nothing more than a 1 out of 10. And somehow M. Night Shyamalan has got a movie where, you know, I didn't think I'd ever see a stupider movie than The Happening, and yet here we go with Old. It's like he's intentionally trying to make really terrible movies. Which, if that's his intention, congratulations, you're doing it, keep up the great work. But if that's not his intention, he really needs to go back to the drawing board and come up with something not terrible.